In this video, I want to share with you a simple strategy that you can use to overcome anxiety. Because many of the people who come to me for help are allowing their anxiety to hold them back from doing the things that they know they need to do to reach the next level of their life. And as someone who struggled with anxiety for years, I know how crippling it can be, especially when that panic takes over, the fear sets in, and you get overrun with doubt. That's why in order to take back control, we have to do three things. We firstly have to shift our focus, then we have to reverse the story in our head, and then we have to realign our thoughts. But how exactly do we do that? Well, the first thing that we need to do is interrupt the patterns to stop you from acting on impulse and shift your focus. So the next time you feel the anxiety building up and taking over, what I want you to do is stop, take a really big deep breath, and ask yourself, what is causing you anxiety? What specifically is causing you to become anxious? Really break it down and understand why you're thinking and feeling this way. Really stop and ask yourself, what are you actually afraid of? Because the problem with anxiety is we're focusing on the future and predicting an outcome of a particular situation or circumstance. And the problem with that is we then land up in a self-fulfilling prophecy where our actions, our thoughts and our behaviors land up leading us towards that result. Which is why we need to turn it around. Because when you understand why you're feeling that way, shift it. Instead of focusing on everything that could go wrong, ask yourself, what happens if it goes right? What happens if you succeed, you get those results, you walk into that meeting, you go to that event and you show up as your best? Rather than being nervous and overwhelmed, you're confident, you articulate, you come across as who you truly are. What if you go to that fitness class and you actually enjoy it? You meet that person, you have a great conversation. So often we immediately focus on the negatives, overlooking the other side of the story. And even if it doesn't go according to plan, really ask yourself, is it actually the end of the world like you're building up in your head? Because so often we build up this story where it's an absolute catastrophe, everything's falling apart, when actually when we take the time to process it, it really wasn't that big a deal anyway. But because we don't take the time to process it, we get anxious building up some story in our head about how we don't believe we can handle the situation in front of us, which essentially is like causing turbulence before the plane's even taken off. And that's why instead, by shifting our focus and really understanding why we're feeling this way, we can start taking back control of it. Now, one thing that's absolutely essential in this is your breathing. The first thing I told you to do when you start getting anxious is to stop and take a deep breath. And the reason why is when you start getting overwhelmed, when your anxiety is taking over, when you feel the pressure building, what happens is you go into a heightened state. Your blood pressure goes up. And in those moments, you really can't make the right decisions. You lose your focus. You're scattered and all over the place. And that's why by taking a moment to stop, to breathe and calm down, you're going to reduce your blood pressure, you're going to regain your focus, and then you can make a far better decision about what you're actually doing. And that may even mean removing yourself from the current situation. I'll give you an example. I had one client come to me who, after various setbacks in his business, had lost his confidence and he had got anxiety that was stopping him from doing the things that he needed to do in order to grow. One of the biggest ones being going to networking events. He would get so anxious just at the thought of walking into this room, dealing with other people and being judged. He was building up the story in his head that was stopping him from going to the events. So what we got him to do, the first event that he went back to, as he was getting anxious upon arriving, he went straight to the bathroom. He went into the cubicles, he stopped, he had a quiet place to breathe, to really lower his blood pressure, to go through the strategy that I just spoke to you about. He could see the story was sabotaging him, and actually he had nothing to be afraid of. He'd done 1,000 of these in the past. He regained his focus, walked into the room, and he had an amazing time meeting these connections, and he even got asked to come back the next week to do a presentation. Obviously though, this is just a tool. It's a strategy that you can use in times that you're feeling anxious. If you want to break away from that feeling for good though, we have to get to the root cause of the problem. We need to understand what's happened in your life to get you to take on this anxiety in the first place. Because until we get to the root cause of it and remove the mental roadblock, it's forever going to be something that's standing in your way. So if that's something you're struggling with, check out my free training in the comments below, where I'm going to show you how to become unstoppable as we level up your way of thinking and give you the unstoppable confidence to reach your full potential. Give this strategy a go though. Let me know how you get on and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And tag a friend or co-worker who's struggling with anxiety who could benefit from this advice. I'm Byron Morrison, author of the book Become a Better You. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon.